Here are some helpful beginner tips if you're just starting to learn the harp. Position at the instrument is really important. Similar to how you want to sit properly when you're typing at a computer, you want to also make sure you're sitting properly at the harp. You want a seat with a bit of padding, nothing too fluffy. We do not use the back of our chairs. We sit on the edge and sit nice and tall with our feet flat on the ground and a bit leaning forward into the instrument. You also want to find the proper height for your harp. I'm filming on a Harp E today, which actually has an adjustable stand, which means you don't have to find that perfect chair height and you can actually adjust the height of the harp itself. If your harp is way up here, you're going to be struggling to lift your arms to be able to play in the center of the strings. Likewise, if it's too low, you're going to be crouching down and then you're going to have back pain. So we need to find that Goldilocks position. Your hands will be positioned about chest level, and we do play roughly in the center of the string. The center of the string is where we get the most lush and warm tone. For most harps, we do tip it on our shoulder and have it balanced as we play, but I do find that sometimes it's a little bit easier just to have it on the ground. I put my feet on the stand and I lean into the harp a bit more, and that way it's a little bit more stable. In learning harp, we use finger numbers. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, and we do not play with our pinkies. And for the basics of plucking, we create a hook-like shape in our finger, bend the string, and then release to the palm of our hand. It's very important to do full closure, closing your fingers all the way to the palm of the hand, and likewise thumbs all the way down as well into this relaxed fist position. It's similar to when we do a swing and try to hit something. We don't just stop the moment we hit the thing, we do a follow through. So it's really important to do that follow through with the fingers as well. There's a lot of tension that's being built up as we pull that string, and ideally the moment the finger leaves the string, the fingers completely relax at that point. So what I like to teach my students in day 1 of harping is just how to pluck. So I like to teach them to put their thumb on the E above middle C just as an anchor, and using the second finger to pluck. So you bend the string, create that hook, curve that second finger, pull the string, and then pluck to the palm of the hand and then immediately release. So what I'm looking for is the pluck, release, except more instantly. Pluck, release, pluck, release. It's also really important to take your time between each pluck. And make sure that you're seeing that finger release before you think about opening the finger for the next pluck. Step 2 that I like to teach is how to pluck without that thumb as an anchor on the string. Another thing you want to pay attention to is when you're plucking with your second finger, is that you don't pluck into the thumb. We always want to maintain a nice C shape in the hand, making sure when you come down, you're coming down like this instead of squishing into the thumb. I like to teach that there's a giant V in our hand. And if we squish that V into a line, it's not going to be great for the thumb. We're not setting our thumb up for success. So when you pluck, we pluck down to the palm instead of into the thumb. So this is plucking into the thumb. Do you see how now my big space has been squished? Versus just keeping the hand stable and plucking down to the palm. Some other basic tips that you're going to want to know is what these levers do. Each string has the ability to play 2 different notes, depending on what the harp is tuned to. So right now I have it tuned so that all the E's, A's, and B's of the harp are going to be flat when the levers are down. This gives me the maximum playability of keys that are in sharps and flats. When harps are balanced on our shoulders, you want to make sure they're a little bit angled. If it's straight across, it's going to be really hard to see all those strings, and you might find yourself leaning over like this to see what you're doing, and that creates poor posture. We want to think from the back of your skull, think like you're a puppet with a string being drawn up, and that's how we want to sit when we're at the harp. We do not adjust our body for the instrument, we adjust the instrument to us. Harpists always play with high elbows. We never want to be chicken winged in like this. When you start adding in other fingers, you might find that some of the fingers get in the way, or they even buzz a string. If you're finding that's happening, your fingers might be too rounded. I do teach rounded fingers when we're playing, but sometimes we need to just pull our arm back a little bit to have a little bit more straight finger, and that's going to help us really sneak into those strings without buzzing. Buzzing is definitely a common problem on the harp. It's not just for the beginners, also the professionals, and it's generally in the lower range just because these strings do wobble a lot more than the upper. And to practice that, you're just going to want to really make sure you're focusing your aim. Don't come too far away from the strings. Really be careful that you're aiming your focus really well as you're going up the harp. Left hand, I always say, needs twice to 3 times as much more practice as the right hand. Most people are right dominant. Also, the harp's on our right shoulder, no matter if you're right-handed or left-handed. And we just feel a little bit more stable and we can see what's going on in our hand a lot better. Left hand, it just feels like it's floating in outer space. And we're also in that range of strings that are playing that are a lot more wobbly. So it just makes it a little bit more work. Now you might wonder about those really pretty gestures that you see harpists do when they're moving their hands organically like this. I promise you it's gonna come in time as you start practicing the harp, but for now, when you're learning the basics, I really recommend just staying steady and just making sure all the fingers are closing and relaxing as they should in the beginning steps, because sometimes the pulling away gets in the way. We don't wanna be learning the harp just for show. We want to learn the basics first, and sometimes pulling our arms really far away kind of takes away from our accuracy of getting to the strings. Something you might discover is when you're playing repeated notes in a row, that you'll hear finger buzzing. So it's not necessarily from the back of your nail, but it's actually from the flesh of your finger touching that string again. So what's happening there is your finger is grabbing that string too slow. So if you think about it, the string is wobbling back and forth, and your finger is about to grab the string, and that's what causes the buzz. Now, if you attack that string really quick, you're gonna grab it without making that sound. Pluck, relax, open to hover, place. Just a few helpful tips that I hope are helpful for those who've just started learning the harp. Of course, there's so many other basics I didn't even touch in this video. Everyone is unique in how they approach the harp. Some of the technique they do might just happen perfectly naturally. And this is why I highly recommend private lessons to anyone who is learning the harp. The technique is kind of tricky to grasp at the beginning, but I do find once students learn the basic foundations of harp technique, they do tend to increase their level pretty quickly. If you're interested, I do teach private harp lessons online. No matter if you take lessons online or from someone local in your community, I just recommend give it a try for at least 6 months. The harp is a really fun instrument to learn at any age. And it's fun because you can play a wide range of music with it. Especially with the Harp E, you have that option to go electric if you want.